Triple compartment case. We've seen something like that, didn't we? But not specifically like this, because what we have right here is the first compartment. Then we have the main compartment where the motherboard is, and then you have the lower compartment where the power supply is. This is DeepCool CL6600, and boy, it really does bring something new to the table, because everything you see here is also covered with dust filters compared to the, let's say, any other case that has perforated steel. And I know some of you guys really do prefer going with dust filters. So you have one here for the two 120 fans that are pre-installed, and of course reverse blades, so blowing directly to the GPU. Then you have another dust filter which is specifically dedicated for the power supply, and the third one is right here. This is for the top compartment. Now, this case comes with the pre-installed AIO. So you have 360 AIO here at the top, meaning radiator and fans, which is easily removable because you have these two thumb screws. You remove the top chassis, and then you get the access to another two screws. I do have to mention that. And then you just slide off the AIO, which is good because then you can clean it if you need to clean it. Then if for some strange reason you need to swap it. But then again, this AIO is specifically designed for this case because it has shorter tubes. And with that, what you get is seamless visuals because the tubes are here visible, but barely visible. So that's good. So the thermal zero chamber and the hyper split tower case and the AIO comes with a bit of a different configuration. And I'm not just saying because of the AIO, but you can see that we have the two fans here and then the power supply here at the front, and then the motherboard is lowered down drastically, which means that the bottom connectors are somewhat covered by the fans. So if for some reason you don't have the possibility to connect everything here at the bottom, even though I managed it, but for some strange reason you can't, you have to remove those two fans. So the cabling for this top part is coming from the top here to the bottom, and the case comes with some sort of a plastic holders right here, just so nothing happens during the shipping process, which is a clever idea, right? And then another cool feature for this case is in the top part, the thermal zero chamber, well, basically not inside, but right here at the front, you have a possibility to hang your headset. So there's a cool feature because they have this part which kind of is holding the top part, but you still have some functionality of it, which is outstanding because, let's be honest, this separates the AIO picking up the heat from the chassis and having quite loads of space. I would say 2 to 3 centimeters of clearance, and just enough to place that hanger just to pick up the cold air from the front top here, because it doesn't collect anything from the chassis, and that's outstanding. So let's move forward. On front you can place only two 140, and at the rear you can place 140 or 120, so that's up to you to decide what you're going to go at the back. But honestly, FT14 in this scenario, WH or the black version, depending on the chassis you go with, would be a perfect fit inside this case, because let's be realistic, the FT14 look quite nice and minimalistic, yet they do perform really good. But also, apart from the FT14, you have the FT12. Now, the FT series case fans have powerful 3-phase 10-pole 12-slot FOC closed-loop control motors with MQ magnets. Very impressive specifications because the mean time before failure is 80,000 hours, and they have 5-year warranty. These fans focus on airflow, concentrated static pressure, and quite solid, I would say, operations in terms of the loudness. For the material, we have fiberglass and PBT, while we also have rubber sides to reduce additional and unnecessary vibrations. For the FT14, what you get is for 140, 140, 25 with 500 to 1650 RPM, 78.83 CFM, 3.6 millimeters H2O for the air pressure. Fan noise is maximum 25.1 decibels, which is honestly outstanding. Now, let's go back to the chassis. I really wanted to give you the idea of the case fans that you could place here from FT12, that they exist because you can only place one at the back, to FT14, which you can place at the rear, and two at the front. So with this case, what you get here is intake from the bottom here and on the front. This is the only exhaust. That's quite alright because you're only exhausting one thing, and that's the GPU. And then what you have here is additional intake for this one right here, and exhaust at the top because the top part is also perforated. So that's good because it's separated completely as already stated, so you don't have to worry about anything. On front, we have a nice vertical grille front panel and a real wood strip, which is kind of quite nice. I would say it really does add something specific to the chassis. For the white version, you get the lighter wood, and for the, of course, the black version, you get a bit darker wood. Now, for the compatibility, we have support for the GPUs up to 430mm or 388 with front fan installed. The CPU cooler height can go up to 175mm and power supply up to 160mm because it's placed sideways. So you need to take that into consideration. Now, the front mounted power supply, how you're going to install it is actually quite simple. So you do need to remove this panel right here. You have two screws, one here and one at the front. You pop it out. Then you untie another set of screws because you're unlocking the bracket. You take that bracket out, place it on the power supply, lock the power supply to that bracket, and then you just slide in the bracket from the back part and lock it here with those two additional screws. You repeat the process but in vice versa, and on the rear side you have this kind of plastic cover that it says just simply open. You just push it out, and that's how you get the access of placing the AAO inside the chassis. Now, for the cable management at the back, it's really quite nice because you have three long, big, actually velcro straps on the side right here next to the motherboard, which gives you an option to reroute 24-pin. You can even go with 8-pin EPS, but I actually went here on the side just to lose cable length, nothing specific. And of course the GPU, if you have two long GPUs or if you're running cable extensions like I did, you can hide that everywhere. But that's not all, because you have a bunch of extrusions, the metal extrusions that you can use zip ties to tie up the cables in any direction you want, so that's good. I didn't mention it supports back connect, right? So yeah, it does support back connect for ATX motherboards, which is also outstanding. Now, it also has an anti-sag GPU bracket, which is located right here at the bottom. Of course, it's very minimalistic and very nicely hidden. You have one thumb screw here at the front. You use your screwdriver, unlock it, place your GPU, and then just basically try to level up the GPU with pushing the anti-sag bracket to the top, touching the GPU, of course, and tying up the thumb screw. That's it. This part right here that hides some sort of a cable shroud that hides 24-pin is also possible to remove completely. For instance, you have two stiff cables and you can't lock it back in, or you can't push the cables through it. You can remove it completely or move it upwards and downwards, all up to you to decide, or however you feel that it needs to fit. Now, regarding the placement of the AAO, which is really important, and then we're moving to benchmarks, it's locked from the backside with 4 screws. You remove those 4 screws and you get 4 standoffs that were actually holding and separating the block from touching the plate for the motherboard. But that's a good idea because with this, they can ship this AAO as it is. So you don't have to worry about the block dangling around. And you have tape around it because it's holding the magnetic top part, because this can be easily removed when you're mounting the AAO, which of course I made a mistake and I didn't remove it while placing the brackets, but yeah, it is what it is. So let's move forward. If you're placing the motherboard in this vertical position or in horizontal, if you lay down on the table, it all depends on personal preferences and what is easier for you. I would in both scenarios suggest just use something to hold the pump block head here on the side, so it doesn't fall on your motherboard, it doesn't do anything. You have the flexibility of the tubes, you don't have to worry about that. But just in case, so you have seamless placement of the motherboard, I would definitely suggest tying up the pump block top, head, whatever, to this part right here, so you have the clearance for placing the motherboard. After you've done that, place 4 standoffs on the motherboard, and I'm saying specifically this for AMD, and then you have to place retention brackets directly on the pump block head at the back side with 4 screws. That's it. You're done with that part. You have to place thermal paste, quite logical. In this scenario, we don't have pre-applied thermal paste, but you get their DeepCool DM9, which is quite solid. I didn't have any issues with that. And then you have 4 thumb screws. When you place the pump block top on the CPU, you tie them up, and that's it. You have PWM for connecting the pump, you have the PWM for connecting the fans, and of course you have one 3-pin 5 volts addressable RGB header for the addressable RGB here on the pump block top, magnetic pump block top actually. And that's basically it. So I would only suggest connecting the EPS cables prior to placing the pump block top on the CPU, because the tubes, as you can see, they are covering that part, so it would be much easier to connect the EPS cables prior to doing anything with the pump block top on the CPU. So there's that. One thing I do have to say before we go to benchmarks, I'm really digging the case. The visual, the layout, the combination of removing completely the AIO from this hot part of the chassis is just brilliant. So moving forward with benchmarks. As you know, I'm running AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D, and in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, CPU goes up to 77 degrees with the clock speed at 4800 MHz, which is actually quite brilliant, and the GPU goes up to 66 degrees. Then we go with Cinebench R23. We have 10 runs, and the average thermals out of those 10 runs is 77.7 degrees. Then we have the clock speed, 4978, and the Cinebench score is 26,696. Just not to disappoint you, I was actually shocked with Cinebench scores because a couple of scores went above 26,800. So if we got some sort of a consistency, or if, I don't know what to say, honestly, but 26,800 is really outstanding score with some of those 10 benchmarks, and that's brilliant. And the average of having 26,700 is also quite outstanding, because you're getting an AIO that is inside the chassis already pre-installed with great cooling. You just need to grab 3 additional fans. I would definitely prefer all 3 being 140, where you would use the maximum benefit of this case. So all in all, thumbs up for this one, because, well, what I can say is I'm loving this type of configuration when we're talking about 3 compartment, and the thermal zero chamber, which doesn't collect any air from this side, and that's brilliant. The visual aspect is also cool because apart from this top part being separated, you can add your headset on the front, and still you have a quite unique front panel, which doesn't give that visual aspect that this top is separated. So all in all, quite satisfied with the case, performance, visual aspect, and installation process as well. So if you're aiming for something like this, DeepCool CL6600 is in the description with the link, so you can check out where to buy it in Europe, of course. And that'll be all for today, guys. Of course, I will add the FT14 white and black, so you can pair it up with the CL6600 white or black. That'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell if you're new to the channel and you still haven't. And that'll be all. Thank you. Bye-bye.